श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। So am I being heard? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Bhagya, I'm unmuting yourself. Okay. From 14, verse number 14. Matra sparshastu kaunteya.
Matra sparshastu kaunteya.
Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha.
Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha.
Agamapayino nityaha.
Agamapayino nityaha.
Tam stitikshasva bharata.
Tam stitikshasva bharata.
Everybody can chant. Yam hina vyathayantyete.
Yam hina vyathayantyete.
Purusham purusharushabha.
Purusham purusharshabha.
Samadukha sukham dhiram.
Samadukha sukham dhiram.
Somrtatvaya kalpate.
Somrtatvaya kalpate.
Nasato vidyate bhavaha.
Nasato vidyate bhavaha.
Na bhavo vidyate sataha.
Na bhavo vidyate sataha.
उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः
उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः
त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
अविनाशितु तद्विद्धि
अविनाशितु तद्विद्धि
येन सर्वमिदं ततम्
येन सर्वमिदं ततम्
विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य
विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य
न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति
न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति
अन्तवन्त इमे देहाः
अन्तवन्त इमे देहाः
नित्यस्योक्ताः शरीरिणः
नित्यस्योक्ताः शरीरिणः
अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य
अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य
तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत.
तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत.
Yeah, you can stay unmuted. Bhagya. I am unmuting you. Saraswati unmuting you. There's no noise on your side. You can remain unmuted. So, chapter 2 is where we are. Krishna has started teaching. In case those of you who missed a few classes and are trying to find out where we are in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where the teaching begins with verse number 11, Sochyan Anvasochastvam. And Krishna is making some very bold statements, and we are trying to analyze and understand those words spoken by Krishna. So we are now in verse number 18, Antavanta ime deha. This is where we left off in the last class. So here we saw Krishna is making one statement that ime dehaha antavanta. These bodies, dehaha, we know it's a body. Deha refers to this body, physical, the one that I'm able to see with my eyes. That's the body, physical body. The physical part of me is the body, and that is called dehaha. And dehaha, plural. And he says, ine dehaha, these bodies means what bodies? Probably Krishna is pointing to all the people that Arjuna already pointed to by giving a huge list. And Bhishma, Dronadaya, starting from Bhishma onwards, because Bhishma is the oldest and the most respectful. And so Bhishma, Dronadaya, Deha. So Desham Deha, their bodies, ime Deha, Antavantaha. So we saw that. We saw the meaning of the word Antavantaha also. So like we said, one who has Bala is Balavan. One who has Guna is called Gunavan. One who has Bhaga, that also you know by now, is called Bhagavan. Now what is Bhaga? If I ask you, I think some of you may scratch your heads. And so I won't trouble you. I can tell you the answer also if you want. So that's the beauty of this class. And there are no quizzes, there are no exams, I'm not asking any of you to chant also and repeat after me. It's all a cakewalk, total cakewalk. So someday I think we should dedicate 1 hour for some debates and questions and all that. I think that will make the class more exciting. WhatsApp group, I'm saying no discussions in WhatsApp group. It's getting too boring. So we should put some masala in this. Okay, we will think about it. So Bhaga is what? Aishwaryasya samagrasya. What is this? Viryasya yashasha shriyaha. Jnana vairagyayoschaiva shannam bhaga itirana. That is how it goes, I think. And so those are the 6 qualities: Aishwaryam, Viryam, Yashas, Shriyaha, Vairagyam, and Jnanam. In complete measure, that is called Bhaga. So one who has Bhaga is Bhagavan, Ishwaraha. Okay. So like that here. So what is the single? Bhagavan is singular masculine. What is the plural of that? becomes Bhagavantah. Gunavan is singular masculine. What is the plural of that? Many people who have good qualities, what do you call them? They are called Gunavantah. So Balavan is a strong person, masculine, singular. So Balavan. What is plural of that? Balavantah. So here look at that. Antavan, Antavantah. So what is Antavan? Antavan means one who has Anta.
And
One who has end. One who has end means not one who has ended. One who has the potential to become ended is called Antavan. So that body, all these bodies are not permanent. They all will come to an end. And in any case, every second the old body is not there. There is a new body. We've seen all that. So Krishna reminding Arjuna, these bodies are all subject to coming to an end. That we have seen. And then Krishna is mentioning four words he's using. Nityasya, Sharirinaha, Anashinaha, and Aprameyasya. All these things are sixth case. So of that which is Nitya, of that which is Shariri, of that which is Anashi, and of that which is Aprameya. So those are the nouns. What are the nouns? Nityaha, Shariri, Anashi, and Aprameya. Those are the all referring to what we have to see. The clue is what? Something like word Nityaha. When the word Nitya comes, we have to immediately think it can only refer to Atma. Nothing else is Nitya. Everything else is Anitya. Okay. So then Shariri. Shariri also we've seen before. Dehi. So Dehi. What is that? Dehi no asmin yatha dehi. Kaumaram yavvanam jara. We saw that before. So asmin dehinaha. Of this dehi means the one who is the owner of this body, the indweller of this body. And of that body goes through all these stages, Kaumaram, Yavvanam, all that we saw. That same word, a synonym of the word is Shariri. So Shariri. And yeah. So of the Shariri is singular. Nitya is singular here. But Dehaha is plural. So in one shot, Krishna is making a statement. So of this Nitya Atma, of this Shariri, of this Anashi, indestructible, of this Aprameyaha, which we have to explain still, of this one that is not objectifiable, Dehas, the bodies of the Nityatma, of the Shariri, of the Anashi, of the Aprameya, are subject to end, are Antavanta. The body, that means what is Krishna saying? There are many bodies, but how many Atmas are there? Nitya, singular, remember. So Nitya, the Atma of every body is all identical. That is why he is using Nitya. Otherwise, he would have said Nityaha. Nityaha Atmanah. He would have said Atmanam. Yeah. So of this many Atmas, which are all indestructible, like that he would have said. But here singular is used, implying that Ekaha Atma Eva. There is only one Atma, even though bodies are many. That is the implication here. Now, so that is why everything is singular. Shariri, singular. That Atma is Anashi, indestructible. And yeah, so we have seen this somewhat. What can be destroyed? If you see, all objects belonging to the same order of reality called Mithya, which is subject to change, alone can be destroyed. The word destruction, bit harsh, but Arjuna was only talking about destruction. I am going to bring about destruction. That is what he was talking about. So Krishna is merely continuing that thought. Destruction, destruction, destruction. Okay, fine. This body is subject to be destroyed. So what that mithya alone can be destroyed. Then what cannot be destroyed has to be Atma. That Anashi. So Anashi is using the word Anashi, referring to the same Atma. Nitya referring to the same Atma. Okay. So use the word Anashi. Anashi. Nasaha na vidyate yasya. That for whom there is no destruction is called Anashi. Nasha. There are two types of destruction. Nasha. So somebody can come and say, my God, the stock market crashed thanks to this thing, virus. And America is furious with China because America is an economy obsessed country. And they're constantly, their life is equal to stocks. So wherever the stock goes, their life also goes. And stocks have gone down, fallen. And somebody comes and says, stocks have fallen. I've invested everything in stocks. I am finished. I'm finished. That's it. I can't, I'm gone. Means what? I am destroyed. Mama vinashaha abhavat. I'm finished. Now, I'm finished here is not absolute finished because he's still talking. He's giving me a lecture now. He's standing and I have to listen. I have to put up with this fellow. I've told him so many times, don't put your money in stocks. So what if your savings bank account gives 5%? Go get your 5% and come on, study Bhagavad Gita. And he doesn't listen. And now he's giving me a lecture. And so that fellow says he's finished. This is called relative nasha. Apekshika nasha. I am finished. So that is one type of nasha. Then other type of nasha also we know. So they have these days, they construct tall buildings and then you marvel at it. And suddenly what they do, they have this controlled, I don't know if you call it explosion or implosion, something. They do something and then there's a big technology. And then the whole building just crumbles like this. Inside, just falls down. I think all the pillars, all the stress points and all, they do something and then it doesn't go out like this. It just implodes. And you can even stand nearby and watch because nothing is going to come out. So destroyed. The building that you marveled at just 5 minutes ago is now destroyed completely. Literally destroyed. So this is the other type of nasha. So the nasha, what nasha this Krishna is referring to? Absolute nasha is okay, we can come out. I mean, relative nasha is okay, we can come out of it. But absolute nasha is what we are worried about here. And so that total absolute destruction is nasha. So avinashi, Atma is not subject to, definitely not relative destruction. Even though I say I am finished and I am destroyed. No, Atma is already there. Atma is smiling. If it had a mouth, it will smile. You're destroyed, huh? Okay. What else? Come on. Keep on spinning the story. Okay. The total destruction is also there. Atma is avinashi. Cannot be destroyed. Now, nitya. Nitya means we have already seen that which is not subject to time. Amazing. This word, these people have thought about time long ago. Long before we knew how to spell the word time and understand time, they have thought it all out. And they have given so many time scales starting from micro all the way down to yuga. So this nitya is that which is not subject to time, which means roughly they will translate it as eternal. Eternal. The only problem with the word eternal is we don't know what eternal is. Because everything that we know is subject to time. Everything is subject to time. So our idea, any object you think is subject to time. My body, subject to time. You can say this planet and then this solar system is so big, the universe is so big. You can talk about expanding universe. But how do you think of eternity? How do you think of something that is not subject to time? So here also eternity can be relative, like Nasha, two types. Relative eternity, absolute eternity. Or relative nitya, absolute nitya. I'm not going to use the word eternity. So relative nitya means what? I'm not talking about my relative nitya. What I meant is this, where we use the word nitya in a relative sense. So this corona season seems to be eternal. Means the lockdown was supposed to be over April 14th or something. Then it got extended to this and extended by 3 weeks and then extended by 2 more weeks. So it's an eternal wait. People can't, they're all aching to go out. So eternal. So our idea, look at our idea of eternal. Just 1.5 months, we are calling it eternal. Correct? So you need to think about all this. And then the boy tells the girl, and what is this? I've been waiting for you eternally. And she says, oh, I'm sorry, but I've been just 5 minutes late. Yeah, 5 eternal minutes I've been waiting for you. Do you know how long that wait is? Like that he says, because two people eager to meet each other. So for him, 5 minutes is eternal. So this is our idea of eternal. So it's all time, what do you call it? Time-based eternal. But what about how to explain what nitya is? When the meaning of nitya is understood, Vedanta is understood. To show that nitya is eternal is this Bhagavad Gita course. I cannot simply say nitya is equal to eternal and move on, because we don't know what eternal is. I've just introduced one more word, eternal, and you nod your head and then you think you understood, but really you have not understood. Correct? So that's why we have to be very careful here. So we don't use words unnecessarily. So here, absolute nitya. Nitya here is absolute. And that is why the word nitya and avinashi are used together. Just so Krishna doesn't want you to think nitya is this 5-minute eternity, 5-minute wait eternity. No, not that nitya. Because avinashi and nitya, if we add, then it gives meaning. What kind of meaning it can give? It has to give the meaning of nitya means timeless. Timeless, not dependent on time. Atma nityaha, atma avinashi. Okay, this is how we begin to understand all these words. So the word avinashi negates the relative nityatvam. It negates, means it says, no, are you thinking about relative nitya? No, forget it. That's not what is being meant. Absolute nityatvam is what is being meant. Okay. Now we are going to talk about aprameya. That word we have to talk. So to some extent, we have seen this also in our introduction. Prama. Prama is the main word. Prama means knowledge. Prama means knowledge. Pramata, like karta, neta, bhokta, like that. Pramata, the knower, one who knows, one who says, I know. That person is a pramata. Prama is knowledge, pramata is knower. Pramanam is a means of knowledge. That also we know now. Pramanam. What is a pramanam? Perception is a means of knowledge called prama. It's also a pramanam. Inference is a pramanam. Like this, there are some means of knowledge called pramanam. So prama, knowledge, pramata, knower, pramanam, means of knowing something. A person can know only through a means of knowing, and that means of knowing is called pramanam. And then the fourth word is called prameya. Prameya. That which you know. That object which you know is called prameya. That thing which you objectify, that thing which you point to and say, I know that, that entity is called prameya. Pramata. So, pramata uses pramanam to gain the prama knowledge of prameya, the object. Pramata, the knower, uses pramanam, the means of knowledge, to gain prama knowledge of prameya, the object. Very simple. If I had said it in English, it would have been long ago, it would have been simple. But now we have used some Sanskrit words, using the word prama, which refers to knowledge. So this is how we look at this fourfold this fourfold division. Whenever in this process of knowing, these four entities will have to be acknowledged. So now let's talk about a prameya, an object which is seen by me. So I see our famous lead pencil is there. And the other day I think I showed a pen. Okay, so I don't find it here. So here is a lead pencil, and so here is a prameya. It's a pencil. Okay, it's a drishya. It's also called a drishya. That which is seen by my eyes. Netrayo yat drishyam saha drishya. So this is a drishya. Okay. Now, what is seen has to be anitya, because it is circumscribed by a boundary. It is limited in space and it is limited in time also. Therefore, it is anitya. So, a prameya, like any object I see with my eyes, or any object of sound that I perceive, or any other object of any of my sense organs, is called a drishyaha, and that drishya has to be anitya. It is anitya because it is subject to time and space. Okay, subject to time and space, and subject to time means what? This pencil is, even though I say it is the same pencil as it was in the last class, last week, still it is now 1 week older. It's 1 week older. The lead in this pencil need not be the same lead that was there. So this pencil is therefore not the same pencil that you saw last week, the last class. Not the same pencil. It has aged. It is now different. Technically, it is a different object. But for all practical purposes, we can say, yeah, I recognize this pencil. This is the pencil you showed in the last class. You can say that. That is acceptable. But that is not the absolute truth. That also we better understand. Aging. So aging, generally, aging is general. Sometimes aging is not. So unless the breaks into two, then only you realize, oh my God, yeah, it's been 5 years since I've been using the pen, and now it has broken, and that's when you recognize it has been aging. But until then, you don't recognize it. And, sometimes it's also good. When is it good? You pay top dollar for aged products. What products are those? See, the car, they say you buy a car from the dealership, and the minute you drive it out of the dealership, the value of the car drops by 25-30%, whatever it is. You cannot go back to the dealership and say, no, I've changed my mind. I want to buy a different car. Yeah, you are welcome to buy a different car, but the value of this car has dropped already by 25%. Okay, so age. So there, look at they're so conscious of the age of this car, and it's now in your hands. You used it for half an hour, so it has aged. So not desirable. That age is not desirable. Of course, aging of the body, nobody desires the aging of the body. Everybody complains about it. There are times when, like this wine, they say aged wine means you pay top money for it, and then you drink with your with your with your best friends. You must have aged wine, they say. So their age apparently helps. Age gives
Post-
us.
Postage stamps also.
Ah, postage stamps, philatelist. I think that person is called philatelist who collects all these postage stamps. And I used to do all that. That now you reminded me of my olden days, and some of you may have done it. So books, pages after pages of stamps, I used to collect. Correct. So that becomes a precious thing. And in US, I found one more thing. They have what is called antique shops.
Uh,
Everywhere you go around, there will be something called antique store. That's all. Their name will be antique store. Nothing fancy. It is not Sri Vishnu antique store, Durga antique store, unlike that's in India. Their antique store, or maybe John's or Malcolm's antique store. And so antique store means what? So there you can go to Walmart and buy a table lamp for $15. But there, if you want to buy a table lamp, you have to pay, $500. Why? Because it is antique. So what is the beauty of this? No, some Texas millionaire used it some 50 years ago. And people are there to buy it, and it's demands greater money because this fellow has been keeping it, and it looks all this brass and then some dirty. Something about something should. There must be a science to all this, right? I'm sure there must be magazines and journal of antiquity or something. Some name must be there. They are extremely good at just developing a science out of everything. My goodness, these things nobody can beat America. Nobody. We Indians sitting and studying Bhagavad Gita and all. They are all very, very advanced people. They have developed science like anything. Anyway, why I said all that? Age. So this age we recognize. The car we are able to recognize the age. This antique shop we are very, very concerned about the age. The wine we want it to be aged. But when it comes to my body, I'm shocked the body is aging. Huh? And my joints are all aching. And then, yeah, of course, you're not 20 years old anymore and the joints will start aching and everything will happen. Don't be surprised. And so, this prameya is drishya, that which is objectified by my senses is called prameya. And that prameya is anitya. And then, what is aprameya? That which is cannot be objectified by me. And prama, I said, is knowledge. Therefore, we can also translate the word as that which cannot be known by me. Aprameya cannot be known by me. My God, this is so shocking. I'm sitting in a class, in a Bhagavad Gita class to know about Atma, and you're saying Atma is aprameya. Atma cannot be known by me. So what is the use of all this study? I learned a few Sanskrit words. That is all I got out of this Gita class. And some words I antavantaha, bhagavan, all these definitions I learned. And prama, pramata, prameya, all these I learned. But Atma is aprameya. Atma cannot be known. What to do? Krishna is saying, I'm not saying it. Krishna is saying it. Now, so the question is, what is the meaning of this? How are we going to handle this? You say Atma can't be known. At the same time, you are saying ignorance is there and you must know, only knowledge can remove ignorance. And so this seems like a bit confused. So we need to discuss that, explore that a little more. Okay. So here we have to rely on Adi Shankaracharya. So at least for us, Shankaracharya is relevant. On 12th, I am supposed to talk about I have given the title, is Adi Shankara relevant to us today? This is the title I have given. So I need to figure out what I am going to say in half an hour. They asked me to talk for, first he called me and said, talk for 15 minutes. I said, by the time I mention the word Adi Shankaracharya and talk about who he is and what he is about to do, 15 minutes will be over. And then they thought about it. I think they said, okay, half an hour we'll give to all of it. So that's still tough to talk about Adi Shankaracharya in 30 minutes. You all know this, I think. There is this Pascal. There is a scientist called Pascal. No, I think Pascal's law and all we've studied. So that same Pascal, Blaise Pascal. I think. So he writes a letter to his friend. And then he keeps on writing. And then at the end of the letter, he says, I'm sorry, friend. I wrote a 8-page letter. 8-page letter. These days, letter writing itself, people don't know what it is. And 8-page letter and all, please forget it. People don't have the patience to write 8 pages. 2 lines in WhatsApp, I can do. And, but 8 pages letter and all they don't. So he writes a letter. I apologize for writing an 8-page letter. I did not have time to write a shorter line. This is what he says. What a profound statement it is. He's saying to be brief takes a lot more time. I can keep on blabbering. Blabbering doesn't take any time at all. It only takes somebody else's time. It takes the listener's time, not the speaker's time. So here we have to rely on Shankara a little. So let's see what he says. Here again, he is using the noun called paricheda. Like Brahma, he is now using the word paricheda. Paricheda means delimiting or limiting something is called paricheda. The minute you put a boundary to something, what you are doing is making that a paricheda. Finite. Making something finite. So Shankara is saying, the object, the minute I objectify something, I say I know something, that something is called parichedya. Parichedya. And I use my sense organs to objectify that object, to know that object, and the sense organs are called what? Parichedaka. Parichedaka. And what I am doing is limiting. That limitation is called paricheda. Paricheda is what? Limitation. Which means Shankara is saying, all these parichedakas, all my sense organs and the mind, the minute the mind cognizes something, the minute my eyes perceive something and I say, I see something, I know something, I see the tree, I see the house, I see the people walking. The minute I say all this, what I am doing is I am identifying a lot of parichedas. The minute I say, here is a boy, that boy, there is a distinct understanding. Because boy, when I say, you have an idea, already you got an idea what I mean, boy. Boy means the person must be less than maybe 15 years old. We have to be careful what we say, because these days, the boy hardly is this much, and he says, I am now an adult and I have my own rights. And so we have to be careful. The definition of boy also keeps changing. Definition of adult also keeps changing, I think. And so we will adjust along with time, not a problem. But boy, if I say, you have a distinct understanding of boy. And that distinct understanding is called pariched. paricheda. And using the pramanas, of course, and which are the parichedakas, the function of a pramana is to limit something. The minute you identify something, you are giving distinct attributes to that object, and the minute you say you give those attributes, it becomes limited. It's limited. Till you need me to limit anything. You need me to limit something. So I am the one who limits all these things. The minute I say, I put a name, I put a function to something, that mithya object is by definition limited. And that limitation is called paricheda. Limitation. Okay. So those are all called parichedyas. Okay. Then what about Atma? That which you cannot know in such a deterministic form, in such a form with specific attributes, in such a distinct form, is called aparicheda, aparichedya. That which you cannot put a boundary on, that you cannot put a form on, you cannot put a color on it, you cannot give any attribute, because the minute you give an attribute, it's bound, it's limited. If you say it's red in color, that means it's not blue, it's not white, it's not black, it's not yellow, it's not so many things. Therefore, that which cannot be known in a determinate form is called aparichedya, or in Krishna's terms called aprameya. So Shankara is using this word limitation, paricheda, using the word paricheda to help us understand this prameya, aprameya. Prameya means limited, aprameya means has to be something that is not limited, cannot be limited by my sense organs, cannot be perceived by my sense organs. That which is perceived means it is parichedya, it is prameya. Now, so Atma cannot be prameya, because Atma is prameya means then by in Shankara's language, you are limiting it. And Atma cannot be limited, because the one who observes itself is Atma. So that Atma, that observer cannot limit Atma. Okay. So that Atma, which eventually he is going to say is Brahma, is aparichedya or aprameya. Cannot be observed by or cannot be objectified by any pramanas. Any pramanas. So perception, inference, this anupalabdhi, all this we know. Arthapatti, etc. Those are all pramanas. And there is one more pramana we have. What is that pramana? We have said that our shastram is a pramana, correct? Shastram is a pramana. Shabda pramana. It is a pramanam of words. We've said that. And what is the meaning of that? So, Swarga. There is something called Swarga. There is something called Indraloka. No human being can figure this out, that there is something called Indraloka. But the Vedas talks about it, the Puranas talk about it. Therefore, I believe it, even though I have not seen it. Because there is so much talk. Narada is there. Did Narada exist or not? Big research topic. Not for Indians. Research topic, only people outside India only study all these things. Because for them, everything has to be historical. If it is not historical, then this is all mumbo jumbo. So we don't look at it like that. So we take it, for us, it's all very important. You ask him, wait a minute, do you see love? Show me with your hand, where is love? Do you love your wife? Yeah, I love my wife. Where is that love? Show me. No, it's an emotion. I can't show it to you. Yeah, if you can't show it to you, then it doesn't exist. No, we can't use that kind of a logic. So we accept certain things as true as long as it is beneficial to us. And so when this Vedas talks about Swarga, when the Vedas talks about Punyam, when the Vedas talk about Papam, Karma, and the Vedas talks about this Punarjanma, so life after death, Veda is a Pramana, correct? Veda is a Pramana, because without the Veda, I can't know all these things. Impossible to know. You can't even guess. You can't even do research on it and come up with it. Not possible. Not possible. So we consider the Vedas as a Pramanam for all these things, correct? Punyam, Papam, etc. Now, the question is this. Is Vedas the Pramanam for Atma? Are Vedas the Pramanam for Atma? This is the question. Okay. So you have to think a little bit. It's not a difficult question. So Shankara says Vedas are not a Pramanam for Atma. Vedas are not a Pramanam for Atma. Now the student says, wait a minute. I quit my job. I signed up for this long-term course. I'm sitting in an ashram. Ashram means what? You have to get up in the morning. You have to wash your own clothes, and you have to. In India, there's a clothes line. You have to put the clothes in the line, and then you have to go to attend the meditation class at 6:30. So all this happens before 6:30 in the morning. And in Coimbatore on the mountains, it's pretty cold also. And you do all these things after 2 years. The Guruji says, Atma is not known by the Vedas. You say, what? I gave up everything to study about Atma. And you are talking about Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita and Shankara Bhashyam and all. I'm taking notes very diligently. And until 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night, I'm studying. And you are telling Atma is... Shankara says that too. Shankara says Atma is not known by the Vedas. And this is depressing. What is this? You're taking me on a ride, as they say. You took me for a ride. So Shankara helps us here. So he says, wait a minute. Does Atma exist or not? Atma exists or not? Okay, I'll ask the question differently. Do you exist or not? Do I exist or not? Okay, we've studied this question, analyzed it enough times. And the answer, of course, is yes. I've asked everybody also. Everybody also thinks I exist. I also think I exist. Therefore, this question, I know the answer. I exist. I exist. I exist is Atma exists. I is Atma. That much after 2 years of studying in the ashram, you know I is Atma. Yeah, I is Atma. Atma exists. Now tell me, did the Vedas prove that Atma exists? Or you figured out Atma exists? Yeah, before coming to the ashram also, I knew Atma exists. I existed. Now also I exist. Now I exist even more because I am hearing about Shankara saying Vedas is not a Pramanam. So I exist even more now. And so I exist. Yeah, that is what it is. So you already know Atma exists. Why should the Vedas come and say Atma exists and show Atma exists? This is what we mean when we say that Vedas is not a Pramanam for Atma. Nothing. It's not very difficult. Atma is already established. I must know I exist. Then what is the problem? What is the purpose of the Vedas? Upanishads, the purpose is, I know I exist, but I have superimposed the properties of my body on myself. I've taken on the properties of the body. Body has many properties, many limitations it has. And all those limitations are projected onto Atma. And so I am a mortal. This is my problem. I am a mortal. So therefore, Shastram doesn't have to prove the existence of Atma. Shastram only what it has to do? It has to unfold the real nature of Atma by removing all the things that I have superimposed on Atma. You know, like peeling the onion. You can't peeling until you come to the core. And therefore, Shastram has to do that. So therefore, in that sense, Shastram is considered a pramanam. Pramanam for knowing the true nature of Atma. That's all. It doesn't establish Atma. It cannot establish Atma because Atma always is. And I know I exist. So nobody has to tell me. And even Vedas don't have to tell me that I exist. That Atma exists, we all know. So the knower has to exist. Before an inquiry can begin. Before an inquiry can begin, the knower has to be there. So therefore, this little clarification Shankara makes in his commentary. Okay. So yeah, so Atma, self-existent Atma, we have used the word Swatasiddha, just to recall that word, Swatasiddha, self-existent, right? When we talked about Mithya and Satyam, Mithya is that which depends on something else for its existence, and that which does not depend on anything for its existence is Satyam, Atma. So that Atma has to be self-existent. That is why I am able to say I exist. I exist independent of anything else. So that is where consciousness, the idea of consciousness, everything comes. So important. Swata Siddha. It is established by itself. No, you don't need Vedas to say I exist. So Swata Siddha is there. Yeah. So that Shastram removes all my notions about myself. And I say I am happy now. I am Sukhi. I am Dukhi. I am sad. I am confused. I am agitated. All these words are used, Sukhi, Dukhi. And I am a Jiva. I am a Jiva. And after this body, I am going to travel to another body. And so I have to gain a lot of punya so that I get a better body next life. Hey, you can get a better body next life, gain punya, but there is something better than that you can do. It's called find out, study the Shastram and find out who you are. That is even better than looking for a better, another life. So all this I do. And so I project this doership. I am a doer. That also is a projection on the Atma. I am a Karta. I am a Bhokta. I experience so much. My whole day is filled with experiences. Because I am an experiencer. I am a being who experiences. That's why all of us can write our own autobiography. Who will read that autobiography? I don't know. But at least we can write it. And we can all say, I wrote a book. And we all want to write a book. And I wrote a book. And if somebody comes home, you can give that book to them. And don't ask them if they've read your book. And so we can all write our own book because each of our experiences is unique. And so I am a Bhokta, I am a Karta, I am a Jiva, I am a Papi. I did too many things. I can't mention all those things. I am a Papi. This is Atma. Atma is a Papi. But really speaking, Atma cannot be a Papi. That Shastram has to come. Vedanta Shastram has to come and point out. That is why that Vedanta will become a Pramanam. To show me what that Atma really is. This is what Shankara wants to say in this particular context. And of course, the Shastram, Vedas is a Pramanam for a lot of things. Like Punya, Papa, I already mentioned, all these things we hear only. It is a Pramanam for all of that. It is a Pramanam for every Vedic ritual you do. Vedic ritual, that itself tells us Vedas is a Pramanam for that. There is no other Pramanam. Vedas is the Pramanam. So Yajurveda Upakarma is there. So then Upakarma means the day when everybody changes. Those who are initiated into the Vedas have to change their. It's the annual renewal season where they renew their commitment to the Veda. So all the mantras being chanted, everything, Vedas is the pramanam for that. And then somebody says, I want to go to Swarga. Yeah, you want to go to Swarga, then yeah, you've got to do a lot of things. And there are some rituals called Jyotishtoma. Jyotishtoma. Swarga Kamaha Yajeta. Like that it is said in the Vedas. So Swarga Kamaha, the one who is desirous of going to Swarga, because I believe in Swarga. For me, Swarga is real as this house and this chair and this light. Swarga is as real, and I want to go there. Okay, you are welcome to go there, but you have to do certain things. A ritual called Jyotishtoma. So now what? Previously, I didn't know anything about yaga. Then I heard that there are some things called yagas and homas. And then I heard that there is something called Jyotishtoma. Then I heard something called Swarga. Then in order to go to, then I got a desire for Swarga. The more I hear about it, the more desire I get. Right? We never have a desire for something we don't know. That I think by now we must be clear, right? You can never have a desire for what you don't know. If I want to prove that, it's very simple. Very simple. All I have to do is ask you a question. What is the question? Do you like Gagabugai? Do you like Gagabugai? Please like Gagabugai. If you say no, I will say please like Gagabugai. You can't even say no, because you don't know what Gagabugai is. You can't say yes. You can't say no. You can't say maybe. Maybe if you explain to me what Gagabugai is, maybe I will like it. Okay, that you can say. But otherwise, you can't say anything. So that which you don't know, you cannot desire for. You cannot desire for. That is why nobody desired. 8 years ago, nobody wanted WhatsApp on their iPhone. Why? Because WhatsApp did not exist there. Some years ago, you put a number there, 7, 8, 9, not older than that much. I remember this because in 2015, one of my friends called me and said, "What happened, Jaykumar? You don't have WhatsApp?" This is what she said, Kavya. She said that. I said, "What?" She said, "WhatsApp." What is WhatsApp? And then I remember that conversation. That's why I said, so it must be, I think it must be around that time, 2013, 14, 15. So nobody had a desire. I did not have a desire for WhatsApp. Why? Because I never heard of it. So you cannot have a desire for something you don't know. And the minute I hear about Swarga and all the beautiful things about Swarga, I am now desirous of going to Swarga. And the Veda says, well and good, my dear. Do you want to go to Swarga? Yes. How badly do you want to go? There is nothing more important than that. That is the main thing I want. No problem. Do Jyotishtoma Yaga. That's all. And of course, I'm ready to do that. Okay. So Jyotishtoma, like that, there is a beautiful statement in the Veda. So, summarizing all this, Vedas is a pramanam for a lot of things, but it is not a pramanam for Atma. What the Vedas does is it removes my notions about Atma. Removes my notions about Atma. Okay, that is all you have to remember. So don't be, because let it not confuse you that Vedas is not a pramanam for Atma. It is a pramanam for knowing what Atma is. I also know Atma, but my knowledge of Atma is confused, is erroneous, because I don't have the true knowledge of Atma. Okay. So now, let's see what time it is. Okay. So 3 minutes past. Good. I think now is a good time to stop. We have to now talk about what Krishna says in the verse. He's already said, Avinashitu Tadno. Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmat yudhyasva bharata. So that he said. Okay. So tasmat yudhyasva bharata. That we have to spend 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes understanding, which we will do in the next class. Okay. So today, most of the time was spent understanding the word aprameya. Aprameya. So we know a good friend in Houston who named their son as Aprameya. Aprameya. So that shows that the parents of this boy had some idea about this aprameyatvam of Atma. Correct? Will anybody name their son as Aprameya? So imagine, look at how much a word can reveal to us. How much a word can reveal. So all this Chintu, Pintu and all we say, but Aprameya, it doesn't come so easily. Pinky, we say all that. But Aprameya, of course, Aprameya becomes Appu later on. That's a different thing. But Aprameya, very nice word. I like that. Okay, so we will complete. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.